Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Kim Murray, and I've been a widow since 2014 when my husband died from glioblastoma just 1 year after his diagnosis. Our kids were only 8 and 10 years old at the time, and it was a lot. I honestly had no idea what I was doing. In the middle of all of that grief, I just kept looking for something, really anything, that felt like it could actually help me. And while I found a few checklists here and there, nothing really jumped out at me as a place to learn what I felt that I needed to know about widowhood. So I ended up creating Widow411 as a place filled with real tools and support because let's face it, widowhood already sucks. We don't need generic advice or pity. We need tools, we need resources. We need to know we're not alone and other people know what we're going through. I've been a solo parent, a business owner, and now I'm a remarried widow. So I bring all of that experience into the work that I do for widows because I've lived it. I've been where you are. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a financial expert, and I don't play one on TV. I'm just a real widow who figured some things out the hard way so you don't have to. When I went searching for help, I hit so many walls of awful cliches and toxic positivity. Things like, everything happens for a reason, or just be grateful you had love in the first place. And it's like, no, no, that is not helpful. So I ended up building what I couldn't find. I wanted a place for real talk, practical tools, and zero judgment because grief doesn't follow the rules, and neither should we. I'm here to bust through those awful, tired cliches and break the silence and tell the truth about what widowhood really feels like. Widow 411 is basically your one stop shop for a little bit of widow wisdom. I've created over 130 blog posts packed with real advice, things that I went through, advice like how to kick widow guilt to the curb or come up with meaningful memorial ideas for your deceased spouse that don't make you want to cringe. I've also created a full suite of digital downloads and self paced programs and grief guides that you can actually use whenever you need them. The whole point is to offer tools and resources that help with healing and bring clarity when everything's foggy, because widow brain, grief brain is a real thing, and support you in rediscovering your own strength and even find some joy because, yes, joy is also allowed too. So, what exactly do I offer? Probably a lot more than most people realize. As I said, I've created a full ecosystem of support, especially for widows who are tired of digging through the fluff and the simple checklists and just really want some real help. It starts with over 130 blog posts that I've just mentioned, with topics ranging from grief brain, how to handle grief brain, and financial overwhelm, to literal tools and tricks to how to stop crying at the grocery store. I also send out a weekly newsletter every Saturday morning with grief insights, wellness tips, and book recommendations, and a whole lot more. The one that I'm most proud of is the Ultimate Survival Guide for Widows, because this is like your first year anchor. It walks you through handling what I call the business side of death, like changing account names and contacting credit card bureaus and credit card companies and a whole lot more. It's an online self-paced course that outlines all the things you need to handle in that first year, and it tells you what to do, when to do it, and most importantly, why. It is the exact resource that I wish I had when I was drowning in paperwork and tears. I also created a monthly self care calendar download with doable ideas that don't involve bubble baths you're probably never going to take. Self care is hard for widows, especially in the beginning, because there's just no time or energy to do anything for yourself. So I've curated a list of suggested activities for every month that are doable for you. It does not take a lot of time, energy, or money to take care of yourself. And with these self care calendars, you can find those activities written out for you day by day every month of the year. I have just recently released a guided gratitude journal available on Amazon called Crying Plus Trying, because let's be real, finding even one little shred of gratitude during the grieving process is really hard. So this journal helps you move through some of that chaos with a little bit more compassion for yourself and a little humor, and it helps you find the bits of light in all the darkness that you're going through. And most recently, I created the Widow 411 Grief Companion, which I'll tell you about next, because honestly, it's kind of a game changer. The Widow 411 Grief Companion is an AI powered tool trained with all of my widow specific content. So it's like having on demand support that you can talk to anytime, day or night, 24/7. You can ask it questions about grief or guilt or anxiety or even practical stuff, and it will respond with the same kind of real talk and guidance that you'd find on my website or that we might have in an email exchange with one another. No fluff, no judgment, just instant help when you need it the most. And I know some people hear the term AI or artificial intelligence and immediately want to run for the hills, and I get it. But to me, getting help when you need it is more important than how it's delivered. So that's why I created the Widow411 Grief Companion. It's powered by AI, yes, but it's trained with my own content written for widows by a widow. It's private, always available, and actually helpful, especially when you're up at 2 a.m. and just need someone to talk to. So, as an example, let's just say you wanted to start a conversation with the grief companion and you type in something like, the house is too quiet. So, it might respond back to you and say, the house feels hollow because obviously someone huge is missing from it, but just know that it's okay to hate the silence. And then it might ask, after a few more validating correspondence, it might ask, do you want to talk about what parts of the quiet feel the hardest? And then let's just say that you respond with, the weekends are the hardest. Well, after validating your concerns and offering compassion for your situation, it might ask you if you want some weekend survival tips, for example. And you could say yes, and then it would offer you some ideas, some concrete examples about how to get through those hard times of the weekend. And if you say no, you could keep talking about how the quiet affects you. So that's the kind of support the Grief Companion offers. It works with you at your pace, and answers the questions that you specifically have. So it's validating, it's practical, it's sort of human like, even though it's AI, but it's not a replacement for real connection. It's not even a replacement for therapy. But when no one else is around, it's something. And sometimes that something makes a really big difference. I hear from widows all the time, and some are brand new to loss and others are years out, but they all say the same thing. They really do appreciate the topics and the way that I talk about widowhood on Widow 411. Most of them wish they found the website a lot sooner, and that's why I keep showing up. I do all of this myself, from writing every blog post to creating every guide and every resource. I'm not a big company. I'm not a nonprofit. I don't have employees. I'm just a widow who refuses to let other widows feel as lost as I did. That's what drives me. Every email, every journal page, every product that I create, it all comes from that mission. So if you're not sure where to start, I would say go to the website. Go to widow411.com and number one, sign up for the newsletter so you can hear from me every week. And while you're there, you can go to the Start Here section of the website and you'll see all the most popular blog topics sorted by category. And you could peruse the website that way. But you could also send me an email at kim@widow411.com with any specific questions about the website or any of my resources or guides or any of the content. I read each and every email. So, if anything here resonated with you today, or if you know someone in the trenches, please don't keep Widow 411 a secret. I built this to be shared, and I'm always open to collaborations or community events or projects that help us reach more widows earlier and more meaningfully. So, I just want to thank you so much for your time today, and I hope to hear from you soon.